Welcome everybody to Kitsap County Auditor's Office Logic and Accuracy Test for the general election in November. We're in the tabulation room, and I'll be turning it over to Regina McCrae, our elections manager, in a minute here. This room is what's called an air-gapped room, in that there's no connection between the computers in this room and the external world. In fact, the computers that scan the ballots aren't even connected to the computer that tabulates the ballots. By being an air-gapped room, what that means is that there's no internet connection in or out. The computers in here don't have network cards, don't have wireless mouses, don't have wireless keyboards, all of that sort of stuff. In fact, this room actually, the old legacy system, which I think it was like 2005 was when we could quit using it, actually used to have a whole server bank in here. And then network connections to connect that whole server bank back in 2005 is when that system was eliminated. But even that old system back in 2005 was just networked within this room. In fact, some of the old plates are still on the walls, even though there's no wires connected to them or anything. But at one time, even when in that old system, that old legacy system, I don't even remember what it was called now. Sequoia, thank you. That was self-contained within this room. So I'll turn the rest of it over to Regina, and I will step out of the way.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Logic and Accuracy Test for the November 8th, 2022 general election. I am Regina McCrae, the elections manager, and I'm just going to have my team introduce themselves, starting with
Amy Epperly, elections supervisor.
I'm Scott Sharon, elections program specialist.
Zach Regis, technology analyst.
behind the camera.
Steve Gardner, public information officer.
Michael Aguirre, technology analyst.
And then, you guys want to say who you are?
Carl Lowell, observer. Marcus Carter, observer as well.
Shannon Carter, Susan Archibald. Lisa Blevins, observer.
David Elliott, observer from the state.
Mike Simpson, observer.
John Cameron, observer.
Keith Howe, observer.
All right. So on this general election, there are 27 contests. We have 2 state measures and 3 local measures in this election. And this test is being conducted in accordance with RCW 29A 12.130. Today we'll be testing the programming of the digital scan ballot counting system to verify it correctly counts votes cast for all contests appearing in the election. So this right here is our accessible voting unit. It's called a TouchWriter, and it is used as an electronic marking device for this election, and it already has been pre-tested. It is not an electronic voting device, and it does not record any votes, and no votes are retained by the machine, and that's according to 434, 335, 520. So we confirm all target areas are working properly on this device, and all text on the screen matches the text from the paper ballots. So Daryl kind of described the room a little bit, but I'm going to go a little bit over it. So the ballot tabulation room where we're standing is a secure facility and key card entry only. Upon completion of the LNA today, election staff will not be permitted in this room by themselves. So at this point, we'll have the doors locked where you will need 2 key cards to get into this room from this point on until certification. And then we have a 24/7 video surveillance. There's cameras outside this door and in the processing room that keeps track of what's going on in the room. If something happened in the middle of the night, we would get a confirmation or text saying, hey, something's going on. So that happens 24/7. This room again is not connected to the internet, and the digital ballot scan stations are separate from the tabulation system. And so the first test we're going to do is we're going to run a zero report from the tabulation station. So we've cleared all the results from our previous testing. The zero report shows there's no results that have been uploaded and tabulated in the system. So that's the first thing.
Orange is the only color that's allowed in the room.
Correct. So when we're processing, the only pen that's allowed in this room is orange pen. You see them all over. Only time you see a black or blue ballot, or blue, is when you have to duplicate ballots with the machine. If someone got into the barcode area or the ballot is ripped, then they would have to duplicate that ballot according to how that voter voted, and that's the only time we use no ink other than.
And that ink pen has to be actually checked out when it's in this room. And that duplication process is done by 2 people, then verified by 2 other people, and then verified by 2 supervisors.
I'll just pass this around for you guys. It just shows that there's no votes on any of this, and this is our zero report that we'll keep track of. So our next step is to scan the ballots. There are 8 ballots filed in this contest. The test deck contains 44 ballots. The test deck has been created in accordance with WAC 434, 335, 323, and the deck includes 1 overvote for each contest and 1 blank ballot. So each team is going to scan their ballots, and they scan them, both sides simultaneously. And then we'll go through each ones that has a adjudication on it.
Okay, go ahead.
The monitors on the wall are also showing what's happening on the screen. So you'll see the ballots start popping up, the images. As the machines start processing, you'll see the numbers change in the bottom right-hand corner. And so it starts cycling through, and this is the first part of the test.
I'm assuming this is the same as this?
Yes, I just want you guys to see it.
I wasn't.
Quick save that.
Yes.
And so every time we run a batch, we have the number of ballots that are assigned to that batch that's already been counted by several of the workers throughout the process as we're processing ballots. And then when we come in here and we run the scans of those batches, we have the number that the machine should be matching from what was reported already. And so you see this in the scanning reports here, where it'll say there were 7 ballots that were successfully scanned out of 7 sheet or 11 sheets or whatever. And in this case, what they're looking at right now is one of the ballots says that it rejected. So they're trying to see what ballot that was and what happened there. So they opened up the report and it tells you what's happening. So we have these controls throughout the entire election to assure that all ballots get counted and processed through the election.
Are these actual ballots from the?
These right here are test. These are actual test ballots,
Okay.
yeah, because the state has requirements on, we have to test every target area on all ballot styles. So we have to make sure that we meet all of the requirements of verifying that all target areas.
So they've been all hand filled out just with ink? Or?
These were filled out by machine.
Okay.
So it's a faster process when we have a matrix here that shows all the different ballots and all the different voting configurations that we have to make this deck. But yesterday we conducted the state's first ever independent third-party audit of the system.
Right.
And we had both political parties come in. They hand filled out the ballots on their own test matrix. All ballots were available to them. And then we ran through this process here. We tested things like what happens if, and they used Sharpies. They used pencils, they used X's, they drew lines, they put circles. They did all of these different scenarios that, might cause question as to what would happen with the ballot. And then we were able to go through this process and explain and show them how all of those things are handled in the tabulation side.
Oh, when it kicks a ballot, there's a problem with it. tell them which one in the batch, or do they have to examine the whole batch?
It told him which ballot in that batch. And then he just there's a human readable number on all ballots, and then he just had to find the number in the report and find it in the stack.
It said about, it was a bad barcode, but there was a smudge in the class, so, sometimes the ink, just comes off a little, so it's good.
Okay, so now we're gonna adjudicate the ones that,
And during ballot processing, adjudication is always done with two people as well.
And
So
adjudication is because.
adjudication is any time, yeah, it might be easier to come over here. When
Anytime it gets kicked
there
out,
is an issue like an overvote, an undervote, those are all things that require to be confirmed.
Okay.
And so here you'll see that this was for a write-in candidate with no name. And so anytime there's a write-in candidate, that requires the adjudication to capture that it's a write-in.
Okay, I got it.
And so we go through and manage all of this. Now, there was a state law that changed several years ago. It used to be that we had to capture the name of everybody that was written in, but they changed the law to say you only have to capture names of write-ins if the write-ins would affect the results of the write-in.
Right. Yeah,
So it saves us time, and
Yeah.
you'll see that in the way that they're.
and this would it also include mismarks or half marks or
anything
outside the norm of what it
anything
should
that
be?
would trigger and like maybe if you did a check mark that crossed two boxes, that would result in it flagging it as being an overvote, and then we'd have to go look. And there's a book at every one of these workstations that talks about voter intent and how by law we are to handle these different voter intent issues. And so things like stray marks, write-ins that don't match names of candidates or do match names of candidates, where a candidate is voted for but write-in is marked and there's no name put in. I mean, all of the different scenarios for what to do are managed.
Looks pretty
Write-in, the name
comprehensive.
is close, but not exactly like the write-in. Is that still tabulated?
It would be captured as a write-in for the candidate that would be close. So like Joe versus Joe. So if there are registered
Candidate
write-in
files.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If
If you can tell who it is, they have to file it direct.
And we had that in the lieutenant governor's race. Joshua Freed, he ran as a write-in candidate, and so we had Josh Freed showing up. We had Joshua Freed. We had different variations, Jay Freed, things like that. So all of those, he would get credit for all of those because he was a registered write-in candidate.
Mm.
So we were able to identify intent based on him being registered.
So why is he going through so many? Is it just an error that happened on all the ballots?
No, this is the requirement of the state's test deck. We have to test all target areas, and his particular batch, or actually he's looking at all the batches, if I recall correctly, but all of them require, because we have, how many different ballot styles for this one? 8 different ballot styles. So that
Ballot styles?
A ballot style is where you are in the county.
Yeah.
If you live in North Kitsap, you're voting for North Kitsap Fire, but you're not. If you live in the South End, you're voting for South Kitsap Fire.
I got it.
2 different ballots.
So it's geographically separated.
Jurisdictionally separate.
Okay.
So it takes 8 styles in this election to conduct this election, but in the primary, because of all the PCOs, we had many more ballot styles so that the people who live in the different precincts for the PCOs had their own unique ballot.
Interesting. Okay.
So this is smaller of the elections as far as ballot styles go. We've had hundreds
Really?
in elections. So yeah. And so these, you'll see on the left side of the screen, that's the whole ballot. The blue box area is what is being displayed in the larger area. And then the colors tell them that what they're seeing. So if it was an overvote, they'd be red. I don't remember what yellow is on this one, but undervotes are yellow. And then
yeah, it's all right there.
So we go through and adjudicate. We do this. So when we're processing ballots during the election, part of the process out here as the staff is opening up the ballots and preparing them to come in here is they're reviewing the ballot for completeness. Because ballots that require more review take longer to process, and our goal is to process as many ballots as we can by election night. So the first thing we do is make sure we can get as many complete ballots through the system before we go through and spend time doing further review. It's a more efficient process for us.
So this room here collects from the different precincts or ballot
That's
polling
where they're
stations?
processed. That's where all of the ballots that come in from ballot drop boxes from the post office all end up in this room. And then we have a series of workstations and areas as the ballots progress through the room to be processed.
And that room out there is secure also. So it isn't double edged secure like here. But we never have, once an election goes live, there's never just one person by themselves, even in the ballot processing room.
And each person has a badge to get into the doors.
Records when we go in and out. Also, at the end of the night, every cabinet, every drawer, every box has seals put on them that are then verified in the morning. And the way that's verified is the seal has a number on it. There's a paper where you put the number, two people verify that number is there, then that paper actually goes inside what you're sealing. So
it's a seal log.
Yeah, so the next time that's opened
And
up.
you can see it behind you back here on the wall. That's our outside drop box. And it's got the red sticker that covers the two doors with a number. Inside there is a
Drop my
seal
vote in
log.
there.
So you're saying that sticker exists all over this room?
Anywhere where there are active ballots, they are sealed. When we are gone, or in this case, it's sealed because it's not something that, we access it uniquely. We break these seals on the cabinets during the day as we're working, and at the end of the night, we seal, we shut the doors, lock them, and reseal them again, just for overnight security. And you'll see seals around all of the devices, as far as anything that would have any kind of need to make sure that it has been secured and not tampered with. And we have seal logs that correspond to all of those.
And what about personal devices? Because of course we're still getting a Wi-Fi signal in here and in there.
Yeah, but this equipment has no communication capability with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth.
But the workers can bring their devices in that has Wi-Fi connectivity, and
They can bring their cell phones in. If they get a call, they have to take it away from the area that they're working in.
But that device wouldn't be able to access it.
So yeah, let's talk about that machine. These machines, they're locally connected to a scanner.
Central. So the four workstations are all connected together to this. This is the main central scan station. So, and the reason for this is part of the security. So with the barcodes and the serialized ballots, if workstation 4 scans a ballot and then workstation 2 scans a duplicate of that ballot, because they need to be connected so that the system can alert and say, we've seen this ballot already rejected. So it rejects the duplicate ballot. So this is the security to make sure that ballots that run on one machine don't also accidentally get run on a second machine.
Makes
and
sense.
Your totals don't match.
So you have to have a local area network.
This is a local network over here, and it's separate from the network behind you or the system behind you, which tabulates all of this.
Okay.
So all of these scans from all of the workstations are accumulated on one machine, and then on a secure drive, they capture the information and carry it across physically and put it into this machine to tabulate.
On a single-use drive.
Yeah.
What
single-use
drive is it?
This is a proprietary drive from the vendor. It's a single-use drive. So if you put it in the machine and take it out, put it back in, the system rejects that drive. So you can't. And then it has proprietary formatting to the vendor. So any random USB drive put in there won't be right.
So if the random USB drive is installed on the machine, is it gonna automatically be flagged on the network, on your internal network here? Or
There is no network to that machine.
But you said
This is here, but this will actually not recognize it.
It won't recognize it,
And
and
if
it'll flag it and say that it's
has someone attempted?
Yeah, it will actually give a report. And if the drive tries to reboot, all of these machines run in kiosk mode. We have no access to Windows, and the BIOS is locked down with password. So in a forced reboot, that would cause the BIOS to require a password, and we don't have that.
And so
they won't.
You haven't demonstrated that to ensure the security.
We were gonna demonstrate it to the group yesterday, but knowing we were doing this today, if it were to break that device, we wouldn't be able to conduct the election today.
Yeah.
So we did not do that for the purpose of showing yesterday.
But there is third-party testing.
Yeah.
And the county actually
system-
hires,
Yeah.
hires external, third-party testers to try and hack the system also.
The system's been certified for all of these securities.
And when was the last time that you had a white hat hacker come in, as you stated? And when was the last time that was done and certified?
The county did it in less than a year ago.
Less than a year ago?
Yeah, it was done through IT. It was like, they tried to penetration test the room, but because none of the equipment talks outside, they couldn't do anything there. And yeah, the rest of the network was observed at the same time.
And it has no Wi-Fi capability.
No.
So now that they've counted or they've scanned and they've counted, they put it in the reuse it or the one-time use drive and it goes over there.
Mhm.
What happens then?
That drive is then put into a box, so it's kept with all the election material until certificated, or until.
So that's actually counting that, putting it all together.
Yeah, what it did is it pulled all of the information from all of the scans.
Right.
And then combined them into one record file, and then they carried it over there to install into the tabulator.
So literally all of the thousands of ballots from Kitsap County come here.
And then the capstone record that is created from this machine is just the selections on that particular ballot. So that's the information that's brought over, and then this machine reads through all of the lines of code and it tabulates all of those individual files.
And then there's some sort of capture of the ballot itself, image capture.
It's part of the scan, so it's a secondary file.
And then it would stay on the drive.
And it stays on there until after the vote, with certifying and detention.
As I get older.
No, you're open.
I'm gonna hold it up for you.
You made a big print for the old guy, I see.
Municipal.
There you go.
60 days.
Oh, okay.
So on advisory vote 39, repealed 8, maintained is 2, and 1 overvote.
Confirm?
Advisory vote 40, repealed is 9, maintained is 3, and 1 overvote.
Confirm?
Then we have U.S. Senator Murray has 8, Smiley 2. We have 1 overvote and 3 write-ins.
Confirm?
Congressional District 6, Kilmer is 8, Preiselmeyer's 2, 1 overvote and 3 write-ins.
Confirm?
Secretary of State, Hobbs has 8, Anderson 2, 1 overvote, 3 write-ins.
Confirm?
Legislative District Position 1, Simmons has 4, Holtz has 2, 1 overvote and 3 write-ins.
And that was Legislative District 23, correct?
Yes. Legislative District 23, Position 2, Hanson has 4, Jarquin has 2, 1 overvote and 3 write-ins.
Confirm?
Legislative District 26, State Senator, Randall has 2, Young has 3, 1 overvote and 4 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Legislative District 26, Position 1, Richards has 2, Hutchins has 3, 1 overvote and 4 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Legislative District 26, Position 2, Paudier has 2, Macklin has 3, 1 overvote and 4 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Legislative District 35, State Senator McEwen has 2, Gale has 3, 1 overvote and 4 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Legislative District 35, Position 1, Griffey has 2, DeHart has 3, 1 overvote, 4 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Legislative District 35, Position 2, Kaiser has 2, Couture has 3, 1 overvote, 4 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Okay, Kitsap County Commissioner District 3, Walters has 8, Inman has 2, 1 overvote and 3 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Kitsap County Assessor Phil Cook, 8, 1 overvote, 2 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Okay, Kitsap County Auditor Andrews has 8, Simpson has 2, 1 overvote and 3 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Kitsap County Clerk Lewis 8 with 1 overvote and 2 write-ins. Oh, sorry.
Confirmed?
Then we have Kitsap County Prosecuting Attorney, Chad Enright has 8 with 1 overvote and 2 write-ins.
Confirmed?
Kitsap County Sheriff, Geesey has 8, Coos has 2, 1 overvote and 3 write-ins.
Confirmed.
Kitsap County Treasurer, Bossino has 8, 1 overvote and 2 write-ins.
Confirmed?
Supreme Court Justice Position 1, Yu has 8 with 1 overvote and 2 write-ins.
Confirmed?
Supreme Court Justice Position 5, Matson has 8 with 1 overvote and 2 write-ins.
Confirmed?
Supreme Court Justice 6 is Whitener. She has 8, 1 overvote, 2 write-ins.
Confirmed?
Court of Appeals, Division 2, District 2, Judge Position 1, Price, 8 with 1 overvote and 2 write-ins.
Confirmed?
Kitsap County District Court Judge, Department 1, Bradley has 8 with 1 overvote and 2 write-ins.
Confirmed?
District Court Judge, Department 2, Johns has 8 with 1 overvote and 2 write-ins. Kitsap County District Court Judge, Department 3, Seaman has 8, Gilson has 2 with 1 overvote and 3 write-ins.
Confirmed?
District Court Judge, Department 4, Kelly has 8 with 1 overvote and 2 write-ins.
Confirmed?
And then Kitsap County Public Utility District, Commissioner District 1, Terrace has 8, Lester has 2, 1 overvote and 3 write-ins.
Confirmed?
We have South Kitsap Fire and Rescue, Proposition 1, yes 3, no 2, 1 overvote.
Confirmed?
North Kitsap Fire and Rescue, Prop 1, yes 1, no 2, with 1 overvote.
Confirmed?
And then Kitsap County Fire Protection District number 18, which is Fallsville Fire Department, yes 1, no 2, and 1 overvote.
Very good. All confirmed. That concludes the logic and accuracy test for the November election. After we all clear out of here, this room again will be locked down. And once again, only accessed by 2 badges of a certain security level. Then all under cameras and all that sort of stuff. So thank you, everybody.
Thank
So I've
you.
got some paperwork I need to do, and there's a place for anybody who observed who wishes to confirm the seal number and then sign the official form. You don't have to, but if you want to, you're welcome. So I'm gonna take a seat here.
Some of us have to.
Well, yeah, I doesn't extend to fall.
The software that this uses, if you said it's proprietary, who provided that? What
Part
company?
Verity,
Part Verity?
and this is version 2.5.
Okay.
Version 2.7 is supposed to be certified by the end of the year, by the EAC and by the state early next year, and then we'll be upgraded to 2.7.
So who provided the certification for the last version of it?
The EAC and the state both certified.
Yeah, when did they do that?
I don't remember when Verity 2.5 was initially certified. David might have a better, we got Verity late in its software cycle, so we weren't an early adopter of it. We were using a previous version of the HART system, and we upgraded for the increased securities that 2.5 offered, and we'll be upgrading to 2.7 for some added features that they're putting into this. So.
And is it the county IT department that's gonna install the software?
No,
or
the
is it
vendor.
The vendor?
Yeah, and actually they don't install the software, we get a whole new box.
Okay.
The box comes to us sealed by the vendor, and certified by the EAC, and then we can perform hash tests on the software to confirm that the software as presented to us is the same as when certified, but the boxes are sealed.
Okay, so you pull the box from the machine and just install the new one?
No, the entire machine is.
Okay, so the entire tower gets
Yeah.
replaced?
Yeah, so you'll notice on the tower over there, there's hard drives on the front of it, and they are locked into the device and they're sealed to certify that the drives are not removed. The back also has a lock device on the back again to certify that the case is never opened. And these are all part of the securities that we go through to make sure the system is certifiable. And if there is a breach, we'll see the various places as well that there could be, but you first have to go through the doors.
And yeah, and you said that Windows is the Windows operating system is locked out, so it operates under it. So what platform is it working on?
That is working under a Windows 10 platform.
It's working on a Windows 10 platform, but you said that the Windows users are locked out of it.
Say that again.
So you said that you said
This
that
runs
Windows-
in kiosk mode. We cannot access that platform.
That's your ADU.
If, when we reboot that machine, it comes up in Verity. There is no, we have no access to the back end of that. And that's where I said if it reboots and tries to boot into Windows, it forces a BIOS code entry to be for the vendor. Because that's how they can then perform functions that they would need to on their end. But all upgrades are replacement drives. They don't come in and do an upgrade. They replace.
Replace the entire tower.
Yeah, and that's proven to be beneficial for Hart because of all the concerns that happened with various counties in the 2020 election was that the other vendors had devices that didn't have the same level of protocol and securities. And so this, by having to replace the entire tower, provides assurances that the system is.
So how long have we been doing business with Verity?
We've been doing business with Hart since we changed from Sequoia. So we've had Hart for some time. And it's just, it has to do with technology changes. So, it used to be punch cards, and then it was optical scanners, and then it was digital scanners. But we've been with Hart for some time.
And so they provide all the USB drives that go back and forth that are secured.
When they replace the towers and they go to the like 2.7, what happens to the old ones? Do they go back to Hart?
They either take it or it's destroyed somewhere. It's their property, I guess, at that point when they replace our towers. So,
Okay, so they actually own the towers.
from my understanding, so if we have a problem, we have to send it back and they send us a new one usually. And we haven't had a problem, but other counties that have reported problems, that's the process that they've gone through.
So when you're done here today, who has access to that?
What do you mean?
Who has access to the tower?
Well, we can't get into that.
You can't get into it.
Right. Yeah, there's no access to it. We'd have to breach seals and then we couldn't do anything.
So it stays here and then you need the double entry to get in here.
Double entry under camera, alarms on the doors as well.
Well, that's up to you.
And then, yeah, and the system itself. So.
So you need a deal about the orange pens, and they have to be checked out.
No, the black pen, we have one black pen in the room.
Okay.
When we have to duplicate ballots, all of the staff works with orange. And the purpose for that would be any stray mark that if something were to happen on a ballot isn't going to match the black ink that the others are writing.
Black one that gets checked out. Okay. And then,
And we only do duplication towards the end of the election, so we've already moved most all the ballots off the board, and then duplication happens in a different area.
so the order that the ballots come out, or the names on the ballots, does everybody ballot, is it in the same order?
Yes.
Or is, oh,
Yeah,
so
all
not different
races,
areas are different?
no, all races are designed layout on the ballot.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And that's
They're doing the
dictated.
Scrabble pieces and
Yeah,
determine
yeah.
order.
And, well, we do that for the primary, and there's a video online that shows us drawing those for the ballot order. And then the primary determines ballot order for the general election. So in the case of the district court judges that are on the ballot now, they weren't in the primary. So they are still ballot order based on the Scrabble tile. But the other candidates that were in the primary are ballot order based on votes.
On the votes they've got received in the primary.
Goes back to when we had our kids, so you go in with
Thank you, Paul.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good to
But
see
you all
you.
get to sign that?
Yeah, I'll give you that one, yeah. Long day at loading the tile saw in a trailer and I snapped the tendon, ripped several others. Yeah, I had this one 30 years ago.